Sorry about that. How annoying is that? You can sneeze just as you start going live. Just checked that I am live in the right place. It is working okay. Okay, so for today's live, I'm not actually going to make a finished card. I decided I would get the Stampin Blends out and have a play. I've ummed and ahed about getting this stamp set and the dies to go with it, because though I love this, it's a lot of colouring. So it's great if you love colouring, and I'm sure there's other ways of doing it. So I've ummed and ahed about it and finally decided I would buy it. It's an online exclusive, so it's you'd have to go online to find it. It's not going to be in one of the catalogues. It is actually really nice, and I'm gonna find other ways of using it as well. But you can see the dies. So this is like a grassy die, and then you've got all of the stamps cut out as well on the die. Sorry, I'm gonna have to just get a tissue because hay fever is playing me up today. You've got two of each. So for each of the ladybird stamps, you've got two coordinating dies, so that's great because you can then obviously, it's not quite as laborious cutting one at a time. All of these are actually in the dies, so that's good. So that's those. I'll pop those out the way. Say the stamps are photopolymer, so you would need to use ideally a stamping mat to stamp on them, or you could do it on a catalogue, so you've got a bit of a cushion. See, this is our Stampin' Up foam mat, and it just gives that cushion that the red rubber stamps have already got. Okay, so the blends, I've not done huge amounts with them. You may remember seeing some of these cards. There were other ones. There was a hedgehog, hamsters, but I think I might have sent those to people. But so these are just really basic blending and using the blends, using two colours. This one I've done more of the blending with the darker and then the light, and you can see a lot of the time Stampin' Up images have got like lines to guide you where there would be the shade or the darker element. So this was a bit of a probably more of a challenge for me as far as using the blends, and I have had a play. So this one's got about 4 different colours, and I'll show you because I've put so much on there and I went up to the edges. I did this so that I could show you what it would do. I don't know if you can see it, just bleeds out a little bit because of the amount of alcohol that is on the paper. So when you're doing it, you don't really need to go right up to the edges. This one has only got like 2 colours, so it's got the light and the dark of the same colour, and it hasn't bled because it's not as there's not been as much alcohol put into the paper. So it's just something to watch when you're doing it. I love the way this has turned out, the colour, and I don't even mind the bleeding on it, to be honest. But it's just something to be mindful of. So first things I'm going to do, I've got a load of, I don't know whether you can't see the tips of them, I don't think now, but I've got a load of different colours in front of me, and so that we know what colours we're using and how they look, it's always helpful, I think, to just put a colour swatch. So this is the soft sea foam. I'm not going to do all of them because I have got one ready prepared somewhat, what I was doing yesterday. It just shows you the different shades. There's lots of things I can say about the blends. As with our writing markers, the normal, just get those, this sort, the Stampin' Right markers, they have grips on each end so that you can pull the lid off easily. They also have the thicker and thinner stripes, so it shows you which is the bullet and then the brush tip. It also has on here, this one's light old olive, and then this one is dark old olive, and you can see obviously there's a difference in the colour. Okay, so I don't know what I've put down there now. I think it was the dark. It might have been, no, it was the light. Best way to use them is to, on the side for the brush tip, so that you don't break the tips down. I'm going to choose some different colours that I've brought. I've put some over here that I haven't used yet, because I wanted to try some other colour combinations. So this is Highland Heather, light and dark. What else can I say about them? Okay, so you always need to, this is Freesia, you always need to stamp in Memento ink when you're using these. So if you don't have a Memento ink pad, now's the time to get one. They do bleed through, especially the more you put on the paper, they bleed through. So make sure that you're using a scrap piece of paper just to protect your surfaces. And obviously if you're putting it onto a card or even a scrapbook page, do it on a layer first and then stick the layer on. So that one's Blackberry Bliss, that's really dark. I'm not sure I'm going to use that one. Okay, so that's basically, it'll just give you an idea of the colours and how they're going to appear. You could sort of go over it a bit and it will show you the shading, and you could add other colours in to so build up the shades. So that's, what is this? This is Bubble Bath. Yeah, light Bubble Bath. This is dark Bubble Bath. And then this one is light Flirty Flamingo. So it gives you an idea of what they'll look like together. So it's really good to have a play more than anything. You know, don't pick up a stamp and your blends and just think you're going to create something beautiful unless you're really good at, I mean, I'm not great at colouring. They're not, they just take a bit of getting used to, I would say. One of the other things we have got is a colour lifter. So if you, I don't know whether this will work, whether I'll be able to show you. If you go slightly out the lines, you can go over with the colour lifter and it will remove, obviously it wasn't off the line, but you can see where I've removed the ink. Yeah, it's just alcohol really, so you can some people have like one for each colour family, you know, like greens, blues. I've just got a couple of them at the moment, but it's fine. Okay, so as I say, always stamp in Memento ink. I'm going to bring in my extra piece of grid paper, and now I haven't used this one yet, so I think I might have a go with this first of all. I might have to use my other ink pad because it's better. I knew I'd re-inked one of them, but I couldn't remember which. Okay, so we can remove that now. And I mean, I guess these are daisies, but they could be, you know, you could do them any colour you want really. I'm just going to get another yellow, and that's pumpkin pie. That might be a bit too. Bear with me. Awkward places at the moment. That's a petal pink. I don't know whether that will work with it or not. My blends, my desk is so chock-a-block with stuff that I really need to get it sorted. Okay, so you can use either end. Sometimes the lids are on so well that you can't get them off. I'll try the other end. There we go. And it doesn't matter whether you start with the dark or the light first. And I'm just doing really little gentle they're not even, it's not even sort of spots, it's just little strokes and dabs. And then with this lighter one, I'm just going over the top. Okay, so you will already see the dark and the lighter, and the alcohol will take a little bit of time just to do some work, and it will blend really nicely. Again, just some little dots, almost like little flicks. They're not, I'm not pushing down, I'm not using an awful lot of pressure at all. And you can do that as many times as you want until you've got the colours that you want. If you wanted to put like a bit of like a lighter section, so the sun's on it or something, you could just with your colour lifter, you could take just a little bit, you don't even get it on there, just a little bit off. Okay, now not really thought about what I'm doing with this, so I'm just gonna, this is petal pink, light and dark. So Just gonna add a bit of colour. This is the dark one. Don't want it too dark, so I'm just gonna do little flicks, bringing it out, going over the dark and bringing it out down the petals. I'm actually leaving a bit of white as well. So this is just a two colours on this these petals at the moment. And you can go back in. I would say to always put your lids back on, just simply because alcohol dries out, so you don't want them drying out before they, before you get a chance to use them properly, really. So I've just added a bit more dark, and I'm going to go back over just a little bit. Just to blend those. So if you can see the shading, the different shades now while it's blended. I think you can. I think it looks okay. Hi Sylvie, thanks for joining me. Lovely to see you again. Have you played with these at all? The blends in these inks, maybe? Or the stamps, I mean. Right, so this is what's this, light, no, this is dark granny apple green, so I'm just gonna do some of the leaves. So this is quite, I might use the bullet tip on this because these are smaller. This is quite sort of basic. Blending, really, just you can do so much with them, but this is a good starting point, just using two shades. Ooh, see, now I've gone out of the line there, so I get my colour lifter and just go over it a few times, and then that will dry out and it will be fine. It's really just as well, because when you're colouring on and doing it like this, I'm not sort of really close enough to be able to colour properly, I don't think. Gone out again there, so okay. Go back to the bullet tip. So obviously the bullet tip is easier to do the smaller detail with. And the brush tip is easier for bigger areas. Right, so I think I'm just gonna some little, and this is just little dots. There's no real right or wrong. That was light daffodil delight, so I'm just going to go over it now with the light lemon lolly. Okay, so that's that one finished. Obviously, be quite simple to just put a sentiment on there, a bit of ribbon, some bling, and stick it to a card base, and there's your card. So it didn't take long. I'm actually quite pleased with how the blendings worked on there, on the bigger flower and that as well. For a first attempt, I don't think that's too bad. Right, so pop that one out the way, and I'm gonna stamp the tulip one now, and I'm not going to cut out all of it in, because I think there's probably nothing worse than watching somebody colouring, and it's quite difficult. I find it quite difficult to talk loads when I'm concentrating on colouring. Okay, so I've got it up, Memento ink. Give it a good push down. So as you can probably see on this one, I started dark down the bottom. This has got, I think this one had 3, possibly 4 colours on. And it got lighter towards the top. These ones, as I say, were the light and dark shades of the same colour. That one I think I did actually put a 3rd colour on. I can't remember what I've said, what I haven't said, but if I haven't told you already, the markers should store flat rather than on their ends. It just stops. If you store it that way, on their ends, then whichever end is pointing upwards, the ink that's in the core in the middle will obviously drain down, and you don't really want that, the ink and the alcohol. So you need, if you store them flat, then it will keep it all moist. So I'm going to go just grab this a minute, and my other one, because these are the colours that I was playing with yesterday. So this is Berry Burst, and I'm thinking about maybe using it with some of these Highland Heather, and get them out. So we've got Berry Burst, then these are Fresh Freesia and Highland Heather. Okay, so I don't want it overly dark, so I'm going to use the light Berry Burst, and I'm just going to do some flicking movements, and like that will be where the petals are overlapping. Obviously there'll be a bit of shade on that bit. What's this one? Dark freesia, fresh freesia. We'll have a look, see what this, I don't know what this is going to look like. It might look really awful. I'm just going to bring it back over the top and out. It doesn't matter whether you're flicking it one way or the other, to be honest. So you don't go right up to the edge. And then, so that's the dark. And now the light, you can go, with the light you can go over the whole lot. I am going to leave a little bit. I think it's quite a nice effect, just having a little bit of white showing. Okay, so that's 3 colours, and it will, the alcohol will carry on working for a little bit. So, but I quite like that. I think that's quite a nice effect. So I'm gonna do a bit more of in the same way, and it is just going over and blending. So I'm going to turn it round for a minute so I don't go out of that line. Okay, so there's the last tulip. If you do it right on the edge, you can get some really small lines, but don't push down on the brush tip too heavy, because you know they are very delicate, and they would easily break down. Okay, so I'm going to leave that just to do its thing for a little while. I'm going to move on to the, what have we got here, light and dark. Move on to some of the leaves. Now, a really simple way of doing the leaves, as I did with the other one, is to follow the lines that have been put there. Obviously there's a bit of overlapping, so there'll be a bit of shade. I'm not going to do too many because I don't want it to dry out before I get a chance to blend. Then again, just gentle. gentle blending with the brush tip. You can go back and add a bit more of the dark, or a bit more light and blend it a bit more, just depending on how you want it to look, really. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish there for now, because I know it gets a bit boring watching people colour, and all I'm going to be doing is the same thing with the leaves and then again these little bits. So it's just showing you some basic ways of using the blends, and I will finish doing my colouring and make them into cards, and I will post those on my blog with the YouTube video and everything, so it'll all be you'll be able to see the finished projects on that as well. Okay, well, if you haven't had a go with the blends yet, I would recommend that you do. They come in packs of light and dark in the majority of the shades of colour that we do. There are a few that you can't get. We also do skin tones. I believe they're still going to be in the catalogue. Or they might be an online exclusive, but you know, we're obviously now into April and the new reward system has started. Again, there will be a blog post going out shortly explaining all that, and I might even pop back and do a little live just to explain it a bit more. Okay, but for now I'm going to leave you with those, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.